So, there is something that I'm willing to talk about, and it is living a healthy lifestyle and the blue zones, and you might know what the blue zones are, but I'm gonna explain it after the intro, as always, as every single day, just because it is amazing and nice. With that being said, hello, welcome back to the next episode of Self-Development with Tactics podcast, and I'm appreciating the time that you're taking to watch this episode or this video or listen to this video. And with that actually being said, there is a few things that I'm willing to talk about. The first thing is, if you're willing to listen to this, because I'm often assuming that people are only watching a YouTube video, then please check out the links in the description. So it is actually the first link which leads you to the podcast page, where you can also choose where you can also choose where to listen to the podcast on, which might be Spotify or Apple Podcast or something completely different. There's just a lot of different platforms, and it should also be there, the SDWT podcast. But if you're on the podcast and you feel like, well, actually watching the YouTube video this time would actually be something that's quite nice, then please check also out the second link in the description. First, quote-unquote, chapter or first section, second link, the notes. As you then can see in the background, or just as you then can see in the video itself, I've highlighted certain parts of these articles that I went through, and these are going to be down in a PDF, and you can download this PDF for free, which basically means that it is a summary of the whole episode and also of the whole articles that I went through, and you can download it and print it and do whatever with it if you do just want to read it, because some people like to listen to things, some people like to watch things, and some people just like reading things, and therefore I'm having all the three things that might be relevant. Or you just might be doing everything simultaneously. You could also be doing that. I don't know if somebody is gonna do that, but maybe. And the third and last one is, if you're willing to have some background music, if you are on the podcast and the YouTube video, then please check out the third link in the description, and there should be a list of different songs, and there's, I think, 5 different or 6 different, I still don't know. Unfortunately. And you can choose, and you can also adjust the volume so that it is just a way more personalized experience than just having some background music and you might not like it. It might be too loud or too silent. And yeah, let's go through the articles. I think, by the way, that I'm actually going to go through them as I've also been looking them up, because the first article that I found was by the Quartz site, which is qsat.com or qc.com, and I think it is actually a pretty cool site. They are having a lot of different topics, or they're writing about a lot of different topics. And this article is called "The Healthiest People in the World Don't Go to the Gym." And it, of course, grabbed my attention because it's not clickbaity, but it is just attention grabbing. The font, by the way, is pretty cool. I like this apostrophe there, as you can see. I really like it. I don't know why I like it, but I think it just looks pretty cool. So if you want to be as healthy as possible, there are no treadmills or weight machines required. Don't just take my word for it. Look at the longest living people in the world for proof. These people are living in the blue zones. In the next article that we're going to go through, they're just talking more about the blue zone and their diet and what they're doing and where the blue zones are and how many there are and all those things. So they live in environments that constantly nudge them into moving without even thinking about it. Grow gardens, walk throughout the day, and minimize mechanical conveniences for house and yard work, which might mean not having any elevators, which might mean even not having a bicycle, but having to just go, or not having a car and having to just go by bicycle or go by food, or maybe even go by horse. Well, it's also not that good, but it's fine. I think it is better than with car, or going with car, I'd say, but it is still not just as good as going by food or just using your bicycle. But something that's very important there is they just are in an environment, their lifestyle is in a certain way that they just have to move. And movement is a really, really important part of our nature, because we are designed to move. We should be moving, and a lot of people are not moving. I'm probably also not just moving as much as I should. I'm working out quite every single day, like 5 times a week, but it might not be enough. It really might not be. And I think it is just a good way to, get the movement in, to just be in an environment where you just have to move if you want to have something. If you want to have your groceries, you have to go to the supermarket, and if you're just not having a car, then you literally have to go there. Just actually forcing yourself to do that. I think it is amazing. Routine, natural movement. They're having a routine of natural movement. It is not like they are supplementing it with going to the gym, which is actually something that we are doing. All the people that are living in quote-unquote normal circumstances, they just supplement their need of moving with the gym and or working out at home, which is what I'm doing, calisthenics and all those things. Like if you're moving every single day, you probably don't need it, even though I really am a great fan of working out, just because it is really supporting your spine, especially if you're young, especially if you're old. It is something that's incredibly important, but it's just good for your whole entire body, because you're hopefully working out your whole entire body, which is just perfect, I'd say. There's not going to be any deficits. There's not going to be any whatever, because you're working out your whole body and everything should quite be fine. Moving naturally throughout the day might sound pleasant and romantic, but the reality is that 100 years ago, only 10% of us had sedentary jobs, whereas today it is 90%. And I think just because I actually don't know, sedentary jobs are jobs where you're just sitting, I assume. And I also like I actually haven't had a look at this picture there. You don't need to lift weights or grind through high-intensity interval workouts to live a long and healthy life. Well, you should. If you're not living such a lifestyle, if you're not are able to live such a lifestyle, you have to do that. And it is also smart to do that then. If you're not able to just move naturally and have your natural movement your whole day long, of course it is something different. Of course you maybe cannot compare those two things, but it's better than nothing. Working out and doing your thing is better than just sitting around all day fucking long and waiting till you die. It's not gonna be good. One of the best ways to do this is to use an active mode of transportation. This could mean walking your kids to school, walking or biking to the grocery store, to a friend's house, or to your dinner. Ideally, you could walk or bike to work as well, or bike to the bus or train station if that's more feasible. It is what I'm doing. I'm just always walking to the train station, and then when I'm just in my destination city, then I really like to just go by foot to school, because especially if it's with my girlfriend, I'm just walking with her just down the road and whatnot. It's actually quite some time that it takes to go there. I think it's just like 20 minutes to 30 minutes that I'm having to walk there, but it's fine. It really is fine. And of course it is something different if you're having somebody to talk to. It is a little bit nicer, I would say. This is what I think. It is my opinion. Or something, I don't know. Best work commute is a 50-minute walk each week, as studies and research has, or each way, I'm sorry. So if you're commuting, the best way would be, or the best type would be a 15-minute walk each way. Daily car commute is the number 2 thing Americans hate the most on a daily basis, behind only housework. Why only housework? But maybe housework would be more enjoyable if you remind yourself of the life-extending natural movement it evolves. You can still find time to go out for a walk if you're not having the ability to just live such an quote-unquote active lifestyle, such an natural movement implementing lifestyle. You could also just go outside, walk a bit, and also work out. I'd say, I think on the other hand, I think it's totally right what they're talking about. But just the other side is like, well, working out is healthy. It really fucking is healthy, especially if you're not able to live such a lifestyle. Then it is quite necessary. Walking for 6 hours per week results in a lower risk of dying from cardiovascular disease, respiratory disease, and cancer than not being active at all. But the research also shows that walking even as little as 2 hours per week could reduce the risk of disease and help you live longer. Walking is also great medicine for your mind. A daily walk could reduce the risk of dementia by 40%. There's of course a lot of different things associated with different things. There's also going to be a lot of things associated with drinking water. It is good. It's going to be healthy. There is 100% less chance of dehydration if you're drinking enough. Which is always something that kind of bothers me. I can understand, they're just trying to prove their point. They're just trying to underline their point with statements, with research, with certain things that are definitely true and are definitely important to point out, but you can find something good for everything, basically, or probably, but also, and that's especially, something negative as well. If long walks aren't your thing, break it up by taking several smaller walks per day, so 5 minutes per hour. Make it a point to stand at your desk, or at least get up and move around regularly throughout the day. Get outside at lunch for some fresh air. The bottom line is that your bodies were designed to move. We all were designed to move, but unfortunately not a lot of people are moving, which really is a pity, I have to say. And there's another article by the Singularity Hub. I don't know how trustworthy it is, and it is also a fairly old one. It's from 2009, as I'm just seeing right now. And there might be just newer ones, but I think it's good. Why should we just not go through that? And it has already been seen by 327,555 people, which also has to say something, I guess. So several of these blue zones exist, and in each of these places, people are living to 90 or even 100 years in common. Like, it is something that's completely not rare that somebody's living there up to 100 years old or 90 years old, even though it might be something that's quite amazing if it is just in the States or in Europe or whatever. Even though I do not want to generalize that, because the 5 blue zones are as follows. The Italian island of Sardinia. I don't actually know the Italian name for Sardinia. Might actually be Sardinia, but I don't know. Okinawa in Japan. Loma Linda in California. Costa Rica's isolated Nicoya Peninsula, and Icaria, an isolated Greek island. What I'm basically seeing there, and it's actually kind of, I've seen it from the first kind of second on, is that isolated. 2 of them are isolated. And also Sardinia is also an island as far as I know. And so, like, yeah, is it having something to do with being isolated? Actually, yeah, some sort of, but we're gonna then see that in the Wikipedia article that I've also found. More than 5 years of investigation, what has Butner discovered about why people in these places are living so a fucking good life. Lifestyle that includes a healthy diet, daily exercise, and a low stress life that incorporates family, purpose, religion, and meaning. So it's not only about the diet, it is not only about just exercise, but it is also about being with your family, having purpose, and having meaning in life. It is up to each of us to choose the lifestyle of health, and sadly, most of us are choosing not to live that lifestyle. To each his own. Yes, of course, like, I still want to point out, it makes sense to live a healthy lifestyle. It is a good thing to do, and you should also be doing that. You know, it is something that I am doing, I have been doing, and I really have to say, like, why not? A healthy diet, which was something that's pretty interesting for me, because what is a healthy diet? You know, because they have been talking about a healthy diet, but what is a healthy diet? You know, how you're considering a healthy diet, or what do you consider as a healthy diet? So they say, a healthy diet, according to mountains of literature and now supported by Blue Zone investigation, is one that is loaded with vegetables, fruits, fish, nuts, and low on meat, sugar, and fat. Something that really was bothering me right ahead was low on meat, sugar, and fat. Fat is not bad. You know, it really is not. So the unsaturated fats, they are good. I never ever just know which one is which one, but there's one type of fat that is actually really healthy, and you should consume it, and it is important, and yeah. So which includes red wine, goat's milk, local teas, and several other aspects of Blue Zone diets that seem to be beneficial. Yes, and also there, is red wine really that just healthy, as a lot of people are talking about it, like for your arterias and all those things? I've also been looking that up, but I wasn't able to find just something. But I think I might actually be doing a single episode on that, because it actually indeed is something that's quite interesting and also important maybe. The literature shows that heart disease and diabetes can often be almost 100% attributed to a lifetime of obesity and poor diet. And I have to say, yes, if you're having a poor diet, there's going to be a lot of diseases that are coming with that. Unfortunately, yes. So please have a look at your diet. Really do that. And also the diet is like 70 to 80% of how you're looking, which means that if you're working out but your diet is not right, you're also not going to look like you're just working out. Of course, you're going to build muscles, and you're not going to be able to build muscles if you're not eating accordingly or correctly. Including cancer and Alzheimer's can be severely restricted by a healthy diet. A daily routine of regular exercise is another theme that is common across all Blue Zones. The people in Blue Zones don't need to artificially incorporate exercise into their lives with machines. Their exercise comes for free, already built into their daily lives naturally. Often the exercise is slow and relaxed, but ongoing throughout the day, which means that you do not really have to have a high intensity whatever. But if you're just doing something your whole fucking day long, you're probably going to be exhausted, in the end of the day, which is probably also something that, if you're just hiking or whatnot for your whole entire day long, or if you're just traveling to a place and you're just looking at a city and you're just walking all day long, you're going to be tired in the end of the day. America, when we see those rare individuals that actually make it to 90 years old, they're often frail, weak, hunched over in wheelchairs, and propped up with countless medications, which is not the case for those people that are living in the blue zones. They are really just healthy. They are just in a good mood. They are just living a good life, even though they are fucking old. This third pillar of a healthy lifestyle is hard to precisely define. How do we measure stress? How do we measure happiness? And can one go to church once a day, once a month, or not at all, and still qualify as spiritual? I actually would say so. I think it's nothing having to do with being in church or not being in church. Stress is especially proven through mountains of data and studies to have serious harmful effects on the body. Cortisol, the hormone in our bodies produced in response to stress, is especially harmful to the body. The long-term effects of this are the dramatic, increasing blood pressure and generally increasing the onset and severity of heart disease and several other major diseases. Living long and healthy is not mysterious. It is not hard to understand. It is a choice, and sadly most people are choosing wrong. If you are already living the blue zone lifestyle, then good for you. Keep on doing it. If you are living the lifestyle, then it is never too late. If you are living the lifestyle, then it is never late to start. Several studies show that dramatic improvements in longevity and health can return to an individual very soon after correcting a bad lifestyle. And I would say so as well, like especially if it is about diet. If you're just being able to get your diet right, then everything is going to be good. The next article, and also the last one, is a Wikipedia article, and there's also a pretty interesting diagram there. The people inhabiting blue zones share common lifestyle characteristics that contribute to their longevity. The Venn diagram highlights the following 6 shared characteristics among the people of Akinova, Sardinia, and Loma Linda blue zones. Though not a lifestyle choice, they live as isolated populations with related gene pools. Family put ahead of other concerns. Less smoking, semi-vegetarianism, the majority of food consumed is derived from plants, constant moderate physical activity, an inseparable part of life, social engagement, people of all ages are socially active and integrated in their communities, legumes commonly consumed, whatever legumes are. Oh, now I know. I should have known actually before. In his book, Butna, which is also Batna, I still don't know, the person that was also part of the other article that we went through previously, provides a list of 9 lessons covering the lifestyle of blue zones people. First thing is moderate, regular physical activity. The second thing is life purpose. The third, stress reduction. The fourth, moderate caloric intake. Okay, I'm also seeing that. Like if you're eating a lot of calories all day long, yeah, might not be that good. Plant-based diet, moderate alcohol intake, especially wine, moderate. Engagement in spirituality or religion, engagement in family life, and engagement in social life. So maybe you should be looking out for these things. And yeah, I guess with that being said, it's going to be the end of the episode. I'm not willing to just stretch it out unnecessarily. Thank you very much for clicking on the video and maybe going through it, and also for listening to the podcast. If you're listening to the podcast, I really appreciate that, but I kind of feel dizzy. I don't know why. So I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success, and I also hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy, which basically means being a nice person and then also being remembered as a nice person. 3 other questions that I'm having for you are: why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions are going to show you some things, for example, your purpose, but maybe even a business idea. But yeah, with that being said, I'll hopefully see you the next time, and consider subscribing and or rating the podcast and the YouTube channel. And I'm going to see you the next time. Thanks a lot.